welcome to the third episode of Sub Second. Joining me today is an F1 in Schools enthusiast, the 2022 World Finalist, and an F1 in Schools judge. Please welcome Akash from Team Istiophix.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a great pleasure being here. We did meet once before this, but then,
Yeah.
coming back here on the podcast feels great.
Thank you so much for coming here. And let me just ask you just one question as in the beginning. Now, we all know that you were the 2021 national champions, and you represented the UA in 2022, and it was the first time Istiophix winning national finals. So how did it feel in the moment? I mean, winning national finals, you're going to represent a nation and go to the world finals.
Yeah, first of all, we didn't believe it at all. When we heard our name and then we saw our car flash up on the screen, at first, it took some time to process it, and then it just slowly dawned on to us that okay, so we did win. But even after that, I remember some of our teammates, he was still going on about, are you sure we won? Did you get an official mail saying that we are, proceeding to the worlds and everything? It was a surreal experience, honestly. And but yeah, I think the mentality that we went in forward was to just give it our best shot, and whatever the outcome, outcome comes out of it, we'll go with it. So it was honestly an amazing experience.
Definitely, definitely. And in fact, you guys went virtually. So how was that experience?
Yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't go, physically because last minute issues. But then I think because the World Finals, it was placed completely virtual the previous year, it was a very smooth transition, to be honest. And we didn't quite face any problems or anything whatsoever. And we actually saw that there are quite a lot of benefits which the competition can take from this a hybrid kind of system, because traveling and all the expenditure and everything, it does take a toll on the teams and everything. So I think there was some consideration from the competition side, saying that for all the upcoming events, we'll keep it as a hybrid, because it doesn't affect the competition whatsoever. That's for one. And the process goes just as smoothly. But then, of course, the thrill of being there, it's something else. And that's something I think we didn't get to experience. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there was any main issue or anything. It was just the same magical experience.
That's absolutely great. And you guys had your reaction time virtually and your pit display virtually. So how did that work last year?
Okay, so for the reaction times, what they did was they sent us a link wherein we had to, using your own system, dock in the points, and they gave us, I think, 4 5 slots for each of the races, which we had to record. And not just that, this required us to send a video of us doing it live and submit it as well, so that there's no cheating or anything of the sort, no malpractice going on. And as for the virtual pit display, we did it in Blender. We made like a 3D model of it, and we kind of showed how it would all come about if we were to make the pit display in real life. And it was also another requirement that we have to show how the whole assembly of the pit display will come along. So we had to, put in all the animations and everything on how, each segment of the pit display will get attached, and how we'll pack it as well. So all of that we had to make it in CAD, and put it as a video, animate the whole thing. But yeah, it was mainly just seeing that if you were to do it physically, how would you go about with it? So just the same thing we had to convince them, this time digitally.
Okay, yes, I mean that's definitely very, very different and very different since anything I'm sure you've ever done. How was it? How was it like? So how does this video animation actually work? So you make a video animation and then you submit that.
Yeah, basically it was just they give you that your whole pit display should fit within these dimensions or whatever, and all the packaging and everything. So we made a video which showed that we brought in the all the boxes, and then each part of it came out of the box, settled itself to and joined itself to make the whole pit display. And then we zoomed in, showed what all content and everything was there, added in some voice overlay to it, explained everything. And that was the requirement which they were asking for, as like in a video segment. And not just a video, they asked us to submit the STL file of it, the CAD file of your pit display.
Yes, that really seems like a fun experience. And I feel like they have done a really good job trying to keep the spirit of the competition, even when you're doing it virtually, by introducing segments like these. So yes, that's definitely very, very interesting. But also talking about your car timing, Istiophix had a great timing last year, 1.055, I believe, in the knockouts. And you guys made it to the semifinals, but unfortunately, you got a performance penalty.
Yeah, so that yeah, we still like we're not a fan of it. I mean, obviously, that, but then we couldn't avoid it as well, because it was a manufacturing defect of a sort. But I guess we just had to live through it. But then, yeah, if you look at our timings, we did beat the other team in the semifinals in
Yes.
all aspects, except the part where we got the penalty added on. So yeah, that was kind of a sting. But other than that, we were actually happy because our car, it performed really well. The timings were great, and unlike most of the cars which broke up on impact, we were proud of the fact that our car, it went through all the stages without a single scratch. So I think we took that mainly as a win.
I mean, 100%. And just in the time, did you guys know about the performance penalty that you guys were getting? Or was it after the semifinals?
We had a hunch actually, because even we weren't quite sure of it. It was more of a 50-50, saying that but then we had to package it and send it in the right time, because the shipping obviously takes some time and everything. But then we just hope for the best. But luckily it wasn't that of a critical penalty. But yeah, it still caused some amount of damage when it came to the knockouts. But still, I don't think it was that of a setback, honestly, because considering all the other competition elements, it wasn't that of a setback compared to some of the elements which other teams breached.
Right. Agreed. And yes, I mean, of course, with the car timing, I definitely think you guys would have made it through the semis if it wasn't for the penalty. But and nevertheless, it was great to see that you guys were the fastest car in the UAE with a timing of 1.055, and that's absolutely a great timing. Very, very close to one of the top timings, definitely. So yes, that's great. Also, just talking about you were also into engineering, but also project management, I believe. And
Yeah.
that was something that was just introduced last year. So you had absolutely no reference point to project management or how to go about it. So how were you able to plan through that process and basically initiate the project management portfolio?
Yeah, well, first of all, before all of this, it was mainly just about studying what the basics, the what the fundamentals of project management was. When they introduced it as part of the main competition, and then they said that you have to you know put this into action, not only just as what you have been doing so far, but that was a bit an informal method of project managing what we did during the nationals and everything. But they said no, this time you have to go about in a very professional manner, and you also have to submit a portfolio on it. So the first thing was obviously lots of research. There was a binder which F1 schools provided because of their partnership with PMI, which is the Project Management Institute. So that was the first document which I read through, and I got a taste of what exactly the whole idea of project management is. Then, of course, I got to know from some of my friends, and then even my dad and his co-workers, because they're in the a similar field. they introduced me to PMBOK, which is the Project Management Body of Knowledge, which is, I would call it the holy Bible of project management at this point. So going through the book, studying each and every element, and then understanding, how I was able to implement it before in the nationals, unknowing to what the method was called or how it is supposed to be done. And then afterwards, I was able to communicate all of this to the team, telling them that, okay, so from my research, this is what I've studied, and this is the way we should be going forward. And they welcomed it. They welcomed the idea. And then once I was, you know, uh, through with the role, saying that, okay, I will take up on this role now for the words, then it was more or less smooth sailing from there. Obviously, we had a few hiccups in between, but then, again, it was just a matter of studying through each and every element of it and trying your best to implement it in all of your day-to-day scenarios which you had in the team, from each and every section, and seeing where you can apply it and to what kind of communication you can have, and almost all the aspects basically.
Right. And did adding a portfolio really help your team in any way?
Definitely did, because now we were not functioning just as a group of friends coming together and competing in this, but more of it as a company. So we saw our team Istiophix as more of a company wherein each of us were employees, each of us were colleagues. Okay, everything was so organized and detailed. Anytime I wanted to, I had a reference point to where we were standing, what we were doing, and everybody had a reference point as well to what we are doing right now. And the communication plan was set, what all goals, what tasks, everything was set. There was clear transparency between all departments, because sometimes it just so happens that, let's say, the engineering department, they are working on something, but then the people in the marketing or something else aren't quite sure of what's going on, and they'll come knocking at your door saying, what's the holdup, why is the car taking so long, right? So now there was clear transparency between the team on exactly what tasks were being done, and what was the issue being faced, and how the team was going to resolve it, because that came down on me. What methods I would take resolving the issue or whatever. And when we were documenting all of this, it just was a matter of putting that reflection on the portfolio. And I have to say, 7 pages of portfolio, no, we definitely needed more space, actually. But then, yeah, it was the hardest part was condensing all of it down to 7 pages to, to show to the judges, saying that, yes, we did do everything you asked us to, and we did it in the most efficient way that we could.
Right, makes sense. I definitely think project management will really help and have fun school students in real life, because I think you're just more organized going forward. And
Definitely, not just this. It helps in almost any dimension that you're speaking of, like within the team itself and within each of the spheres that you're going in. Okay, be it just graphic designing or whatever. Everywhere you see, everywhere you go, there is some aspect, there's some element of project management involved. So, and having that, knowledge with you at this level, it's very benefiting to students.
agreed, agreed. That's really, really great to hear that just as current F1 and school students, that's something that we will be learning as we move on with our project management, or that we are learning right now as we go through our journey. But yes, I mean, I'm an enterprise manager. I can only ask these questions. So let me hand it over to my engineers who can who are more well versed with engineering questions.
Yeah. So have you seen the new regulations for the 2023 World Finals?
The Halo, right? Yeah. I knew you would ask me about that, because now you guys are suffering through it, aren't you?
Yes. So what's your take on the Halo as a whole?
See, now that I'm not participating or anything, I can be as blunt as I want, and honestly, I don't like it. No, but seriously, when the regulations just had come out, it it really set everyone into panic. Okay, because there was this addition of a completely unrelated component. But then at first we were a bit confused because the only thing the Halo did, like from our initial understanding, was just slow the car down. So now you have Infinitude, who has set the world record for the fastest F1 in schools car. Now they can never be beaten. They will hold that pride and esteem with them no matter where they go because of this new introduction. But on a different note, like I think what they're going with is to add a little bit more complexity to the F1 and schools car, so that you know uh, n- the teams which come out and actually get to study these components, and they get to analyze what problems arise with it and how to combat it, and what all skills and what all knowledge should they be having to get around this. Because at first, these F1 cars, F1 and schools cars, first of all, they're really miniature. So regular aerodynamics which you would learn for an proper F1 car hardly is applicable to this model because of firstly its size, and second of all how different it is in both shape and everything. If you see all the cars, the fastest ones, and you look at them, it's basically a bullet on wheels. Okay, because they have kept the design so simple. Okay, and each component is just as basic and as plain as you can make it, right? And then that's how they're able to achieve the top speeds. But now with the addition of this one component, you have more complexity, and you'll have to figure out some more innovative ways to get around it, right? And I think they're using it to as a part of a deceleration system.
Yeah, stubborn cats.
Yeah. So yeah, new changes are about, you know and I remember Halo was in talks before, before it was introduced, and there was another one with the underbody as well. That was also another part that was in talks before. Who knows, maybe it will come in the future. But I think what the competition is doing right now is that by increasing the complexity, it's just offering students to get a chance to learn more, you know to by imitating the actual F1 in schools car to proper F1 car. It's just helping students to get a deeper understanding of, how intricate aerodynamics is and how they'll be able to apply it on a smaller scale. And going by that reasoning, I think it's a good addition. But going by, it's definitely gonna slow cars down. So that was one thing I wasn't happy with.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, luckily, I'm not the one dealing with it. It's you guys. So yeah, all the best.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And yeah, and also like, how long have you been in this competition, F1 schools?
For I think 3 years. It took a big chunk of my high school life. Yeah, from 10th onwards, 10th, 11th, 12th. I've been part of F1 in schools. And yeah, ever since that one call from a friend saying, "Yeah, Akash, there's this competition, F1 in schools, you want to join?" That guy, he ruined my sleep for the next 3 years. But then, yeah, if it wasn't for that one call, I wouldn't be here. So, and honestly, I think it's really helped shape me, not just as a student, but overall as a person as well. And yeah, I think it's been a great experience.
Yeah, that's great. So how has like being a part of F1 in schools and just dealing with so many different challenges helped you as a person?
Well, as I said again, been in this competition for 3 years, and every year I have been assigned with a different role, basically. So at this point, I have a fair bit of understanding of every position within an F1 schools team. And not just that, you know, I don't think I've ever fought with my teammates so much than I have with anyone else. And that was honestly a really good thing, because of that we were able to come up with so much. And it just helped me understand how to deal with people in different scenarios, how to you know differentiate the good fights between the bad fights. you know and not just that, it really helped me to showcase myself, you know and learn learn so much more, because even right now I'm mentoring my junior teams who will be participating in the nationals this year. I tell them the same thing, that the competition's main aim is for you guys to learn, and not just the technical skills which comes with every position. you know you come out with a fair bit of understanding in so many technical fields, and you come out with a set of soft skills that you are fit for a low level job, at least, right? Let's say I'm working in the enterprise section, or I'm in charge with graphic designing. By the time I come out of this competition, I will have a full mastery over one software. Okay, I'll be able to do posts. I'll be able to do lots of things with it. Okay, I am. I have basically built up skills for any base level internship at this point. Right, I can go work for a company right now. Obviously, you need to yeah, get a degree and everything, but you're getting the point. You're well equipped with such technical skills that will come used to you, no matter where you're going to go.
Yes, definitely. So, yeah, coming to the performance penalty. Um, so would you mind like telling us a bit more about the penalty? Like, what rule you guys broke, or yeah.
I think the penalty that we had was the placement of. It sounds very petty, but it was the placement of the F1 school sticker, because it had it's like clear visibility to it, and it said in the regulations that it should from this angle it should be visible, all of that, it should be at a certain degree. I think we were struggling a bit with the paint and everything, and that's where we made a slight mistake, which cost us. And even after all the manufacturing we did, you know I think we were just lucky that it wasn't a major issue, because other than that, everything else was fine, honestly. We sanded, we milled so many cars. It's like 8-10 cars very easily. There's so many sets of wheels, and I think it was just a slight mistake on our side.
But here, let's look at the bright side. You guys, even after the performance penalty, you guys did so well at the World Finals.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was really nice to see UAE doing so well, because UAE has been, has been the underdog for quite a long time, guys, for that matter. So yes, I mean,
Yeah, I
great
think
performance.
UAE is because of how small we are as a country. I think we fall back quite a bit, because if you look at other teams, from other countries, let's take Australia for example. Okay, Australia, they have it's a big country. Australia, India, whatever. They start with regionals,
Regions, yeah.
then they go to state, and then they go to nationals, and then they go to worlds. So by the time they go to worlds, it's the fourth year, if not more. Okay, and you see, it's kind of shows a it builds a filter system, basically. You have the best of the best of the best teams coming in. Okay, and through these years, every year the teams are striving to get even better than last time, right? So they start off small, maybe 1 or 2 years, getting to know the competition in, the regionals, finally coming up to the state level, right? Beating them, going to the nationals, finally becoming champions, and then now they come to the worlds. By that time, every member on the team has a fair knowledge on, like, his own task, what he is assigned to, and he has a mastery over, as I said again, whatever software he's using, whatever theoretical knowledge that he should be having, he has mastery over it, right? And then this all just helps to, like, give a competitive edge. UAE, because we are, a small country, we proceed straight to the nationals. But even then, because of the huge number of teams that we have, I found it out the hard way last year, because I had to, do the evening shift as well on all the days for judging, just to
Yeah.
accommodate the teams, you know. So I think we have a fair bit of competition here as well. But then again, uh, we have the teams who come up, they usually have to have, like, some sort of experience failing, I would say, you know, coming to the competition, failing again, and then going on to the worlds, and by just gaining that sort of exposure, getting that experience and learning mostly.
Agreed. That's a very, very important point, I'd say. It completely makes sense. Because I feel like just with UA, when you come to the worlds, there's just so many more things you have to understand, or you have to expand your skill set, I'd say. So yes, that completely makes sense, and that's why, yeah, it really sort of explains why Australian teams or UK teams, Indian teams, all of them are so strong at the World Finals. But hopefully this year UAE can prove whatever they have to.
Definitely, you guys should.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, with the new regulations, I feel like, yes, we definitely have the
Yeah, the
opportunity.
new regulations is more of a fresh start,
Mhm.
because now nobody was expecting this, and it's the first time teams are coming to this. And it always so happens that uh, whichever country is participating this year, that team has received some sort of guidance from the previous world final teams. You know, we've seen it all the time. The same trend, the same sponsors, even, you know, uh, sponsoring the teams which were there the previous year in the world finals, showing up again this year. So, but now that the playing field has been, level for everyone with this new regulations, I think it's a decent chance that anyone can rise up to the top, so long as who is able to interpret it better, and who's able to get around it, I would say.
Yeah, completely agreed. I see Rohan's mic unmuting and muting, so I guess he has a question. Go ahead.
So how do you guys really manage your weight for the car?
Okay, so first of all, uh, we that was our primary concern, basically, because when we made the first few prototypes, we knew immediately that our car is one very chunky, blocks, and we had to make sure to, get remove lots of parts of it. So the side pods and everything, we try to make it as hollow as possible. And you know and the tricky part of it was, we made it hollow, but then the margin of it became so thin that during manufacturing it sometimes caused an error. But then again, it's more of a trial and error process, right? And we just kept removing certain parts weren't which didn't quite serve a purpose, actually. you know Sometimes, because again, I said, on this miniature level, if I would totally remove the rear wings, because it doesn't quite serve a purpose on a practical sense, because rear wings, they're just for downforce. You already have downforce produced enough by the front, the front wing, or whatever front ramps you're having. Then you also have the tether line guide, which is holding you on the ground. You don't technically need the rear wing. So, all these places where we could make uh, the components as simplistic as possible, as minimal as possible, we tried doing it. And then it was we said to ourselves that if we go underweight, that is not a problem, that's never an issue, because that can be covered up with paints. Okay, 2 3 coats of paints, maybe a primer, adding on to that extra weight, some stickers and everything. So that was never an issue. We tried to cut weight everywhere and anywhere we could find. So that was just our main goal, our main priority was that. And when teams do that, it again comes down, they find themselves making a very simplistic design. Again, back to the same point of, why the fastest cars have this, because they go in the same logic, basically.
So how long did you guys take to figure out your assembly?
I can't begin on telling you how many prototypes we had for, the uh, axles. Okay, because we just kept on coming with solutions. We kept on coming with problems as well. Okay, uh, but then our CAD expert Thurul, he just worked day and night, and each time he came up with something, he showed us. He was like, we can start off with this. Will it work? Again, run it through CFD, run it through tests, run it through everything we have at the moment. So it just comes down to, like, uh, fi- getting as many models, as many prototypes as you can. You know, what we did was that the axle, we chipped it off from the main body, 3D printed it, and then attached it back to it. So that was one major risk we took, I would say, because it was a high chance of it detaching. So, but then it was the one setup that actually worked for us with the type of tires we had and everything. But then again, it just comes down to what suits best with your main car body, and lots of trial and error.
I see. Yeah, yeah. Um. Also, about your oh yeah. Also, what kind of 3D printing did you guys use for your 3D printed parts?
Okay, so for nationals, we just went basic with ABS plastic, because, well, first of all, it's cheap, it's easy to make, and it's reliable as well. But then for the worlds, we noticed one big thing, that many of the cars, they broke upon impact. And then there was also a chance, like, at that point we weren't really sure if we would be there on site, or if we would be online. Okay, but then it wasn't a risk that we ever wanted to take in the first place. So we made sure that, like, whatever parts we're using is durable enough. So for the worlds, we ended up using resin. Now the problem with resin is that it's very tricky to manufacture, and it's hard to get the proportions right when you're 3D printing with resin. And it comes down to a lot of sanding and a lot of manual labor to, like, perfect a part that comes out of 3D printing. But then it's much more durable than ABS plastic. And if you can get the manufacturing right, yeah, it it serves as a better alternative to ABS because of its high strength. And if you're looking at it weight wise, it is a bit heavier, but is of a higher quality, I would say. So that's why for the worlds, we made sure that we targeted manufacturing more as our primary focus. And yeah, we even ended up getting our own, like, purchasing our own 3D printer, just so we can, like, stay up till, I don't know, 3 in the morning, 3D printing all of this, t- telling the machine to run each and every prototype we had of the front wings or whatever, and just seeing how it came out. So yeah, we wasted a lot of resin, that's for sure. But then in the end, it was all worth it, because our car, it came out flawlessly, not a single scratch. The Because each and every team we raced, they had at least one DNF, and they had at least one part broken or something. But then we didn't, which was honestly quite a relief. And it just proved that all the efforts we took in for the manufacturing, and we made a right call with resin. So it was a gamble, but it played out in our favor.
Yeah, makes sense. But let me ask you this. I mean, with the new era of sustainability just coming through. What do you think about so what did you guys do with sustainability, or what do you think about what teams are doing right now with sustainability?
Okay. Sustainability, if you look at it, it's a very broad topic and something that, even F1 in schools, they're putting it very vague in the competition regulations as well, because it's what they are expecting is not just, your teams going out and, let's say, you know, planting trees or whatever. They are looking for, a few innovative ideas teams can come up with, you know. Sure, you can go and plant trees, but like, what set you apart from, the 110 other teams who did the same thing, right? So sustainability initiatives, it can be taken in, the economic sense, the community, within the community, and just, what you're basically doing on the ground level and how you're spreading awareness. So all of these do come under sustainability, just a matter of how you're doing it differently, you know, and what is setting you apart from doing the same thing with everyone else. Because at this point, everyone knows about sustainability. You ask a 10-year-old, he will tell you 110 ways on how you can be more sustainable. Yeah. But what they're looking for is innovation, creativity, and how are you doing it different?
Right, right. Completely agreed. And even last year, there were so many things that teams did differently. They did environmental sustainability and sort of try to inculcate it within engineering also, to some aspects. So yeah,
Yeah, they, for example, Zenith, the team who are with us, they partnered up with the company to manufacture their jerseys, which were made out of 100% recyclable plastic from, bottle cans. That was a very good initiative from them, right? And then an upcoming team who I've been in touch with, who will be competing against your Constellation, they launched their own, net zero program,
yeah.
zero emissions program. So that is also another uh, major step being taken, and the way they're doing it is definitely, different from teams, right? So it's setting them apart. It sets Zenith apart as well. So it's again coming down the same thing. How can you do it? How can you do the same thing differently and in a much more impactful way?
Agreed. And can I just say that it's so great that even after you're done participating with F1 in schools, you keep in touch with all these teams. It's really great that you're giving off all the information and knowledge that you have to these junior teams that are competing this year. It's really great.
Yeah, I mean the passion is always there,
Yeah.
and even after I'm graduating, you might have heard of Formula Student as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely that's also another STEM competition I'm very much interested in, and uh, no, even if I go to university and take part in that, I would still be very much connected to F1 and schools, because that was the main starting point for me, and I hope it's the main starting point for many more other aspiring engineers to come up.
Yes, agreed. It is for me, and I can definitely say it is for most of my team also. But yes, thank you so much for coming today and sharing so much with us. I'm sure as much as it has helped us, it'll help everyone who really looks at this episode. So thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing everything.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was great.
Great, thank you. And with this, we come to the end of this episode of Subseconds. Stay tuned for the next episode coming 2 weeks after. Thank you, and bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.